Your health is our priority. That is why we do everything that it takes to make sure that we reach you and we send these health messages unto you wherever you are. There in your living room. Of course, it is 7 p.m. and some people are rushing to go back home. Of course, plus you who are watching us, you're in a taxi, you're on your phone, and you're watching us via our Facebook and YouTube channels. Thank you so much. I welcome you to Family Television, and this is Health Port. I want you to remember that Health Port is our show dedicated to handle issues specifically in maternal health. Therefore, if you are a mother, or you're a mother to be, or maybe you're a pregnant mother. Now, these two things are confusing. A mother to be and a pregnant mother. They're all mothers to be, but there's someone who is not yet pregnant and there's someone who is already pregnant. But of course, even if you've given birth, this program is dedicated to you, and it is for you. Therefore, you should not miss it. HealthPort Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name. And of course, I have a panel where seated we have Amanda, who is going to take us through today's topic. And we also have Fatna, who is on the sign language. Last time we handled what we called preconception, nutrition in preconception. And of course, I believe it was exhausted. But today I want us to look at nutrition in pregnancy, because after preconception, then there is this conception period, and then there is pregnancy. So why this nutrition during pregnancy?
Okay, so nutrition during pregnancy. Now, our previous topic that we looked at, nutrition in preconception, we were preparing for pregnancy.
Yeah.
So now the mother is pregnant. So why is it important for us to make sure that this mother is fed well in pregnancy is what we're really going to talk about today. So there's this common phrase that says, normally people say, when you're pregnant, you're eating for two. Okay? So we want to find out, is it correct? Yes, because technically we are eating for two. But we should not eat too much. Okay? We shouldn't eat too much.
I thought that it literally means you eat for two, so you have to double the portion.
So that is
food.
the misconception that we want to take away today. So what is important for us to know, for our viewers to know, is that you as a child is what the mother eats. So whatever you're putting in your body as when you're pregnant, it has impacts, both positive or negative, depending on what it is, on the growth and development of your child as they're growing. And pregnancy is one of those very demanding periods, because it's 9 months only. But imagine a child grows from a single cell, okay, to a fertilized egg, and finally, at the end of 9 months, to a human baby. So imagine someone growing from just a cell. Therefore, the resources that need to be put in order for that child to grow, and at the end of 9 months, you have a healthy baby delivered, is what we're going to see. What are our inputs?
Maybe it is also important to attach this to today's topic. Like you said, to have a healthy body. Meaning, if you don't mind the nutrition during pregnancy, then your baby won't be healthy.
Yes, it goes different ways. For a healthy mother and a well-nourished mother will most likely give birth to a healthy and well-nourished baby. Because it's like systems. Whatever you put in is most likely what you take out. Okay? Yes.
And so, what are some of these nutrients that a mother needs?
Okay, so like we talked about last time, I might not zero down on the scientific terms. If you remember our food groups that we created 3 food groups: the energy giving foods group, the bodybuilding, and the protective foods. Just to remind us, the energy giving foods are these foods like posho, matoke, Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, the foods that we use as food, okay? And the bodybuilding are meat, chicken, eggs, groundnuts, peas, beans, this food that we normally serve as sauce. And then the protective foods are the fruits and the vegetables. Yes. So one important thing is that every time a pregnant woman sits down to eat, she should eat from each of those food groups on one plate. So that brings about the issue of balancing her diet.
In other words, I shouldn't be specific on the food, that if it is matoke, I eat matoke in plenty and matoke alone.
No, we need to balance. We need to balance our meals.
For every meal.
For every meal. So what is important in pregnancy is, of course, we have increased nutrient requirements. Because remember, I said we are growing the child from a single cell. So our input is now what we talk about. The input, the quantity and the quality of food. So if we look at the energy-giving foods, they are important, but they should not be eaten in excess. Okay? So
Amanda, what do you mean in excess?
In excess. So we have guidelines that inform our maybe eating habits or our diet or our meal plans. So depending, like we had talked about before, depending on the mother's current health and nutrition status. That is very important, because these messages we're giving today are for a well-nourished mother. Okay? So we have the My Plate, what they call the My Plate. Before we used to have what they call the food pyramid. So it would give you how much of what to eat. But now that we have the My Plate, we'll see it, and we'll see how much of a serving in terms of portions on a plate a mother should apportion to the different food groups, okay, on that single plate. But one thing that I should tell that is important is that as a woman is pregnant, her energy needs also increase in the 3 trimesters, because we have 3 trimesters, and each has 3 months. So for the first trimester, research shows that the energy needs do not increase significantly, but they increase as she goes into the second and in the third trimester. So in the second trimester, the additional energy would be about 300 kilocalories, and in the second, about 425 kilocalories. So those are very technical things. But what does that mean? It means that if a woman is having 3 meals a day, okay, breakfast, lunch, and supper, what does she need to add? She needs to have an extra snack, okay? And snack, we are meaning a healthy snack.
I think you'll also help our viewers break down the health snacks you're talking about, because when you talk about snacks, people will rush for chips, chicken, and all that, sausage.
Okay. So one of the key points is our foods, everything that we eat should be balanced. Even our snacks, we should try to make sure they are balanced. So a healthy snack can be, for example, a glass of milk and a plate of fruits. Okay? That can serve as a snack. So let us try to limit foods that they term empty calories. Okay? Empty calories, like maybe sodas or the beverages that are sweetened, okay, or foods with very high fat, high sugar. They don't have a lot of the micronutrients. Okay, the micronutrients, those are the vitamins and the minerals, which are very important, and their requirement increases as a lady is pregnant. Then to add on, maybe let me talk about the 3 groups. Yeah. So the first one, we talked about the energy giving, and we said we get an extra snack. That extra snack most likely will deal with the added energy that is required. And then when we talk about the bodybuilding foods, it's very important that, because the bodybuilding foods are important for the mother, because as you're going through the different trimesters of pregnancy, you're adding weight, you're building more muscles. The mammary glands, are increasing. These are the breast tissues. They are increasing, and you also increasing weight on most parts of your body. That is to prepare for comfort for the child. Then the baby is also growing. Okay, the tissues, the muscles, because muscles are protein. All those are growing for the child. So the protein requirement is increased. Okay, so how do we get good protein? Our viewer might be wondering.
Exactly.
Yes. So our body building foods, okay, we have the plant sources and the animal sources. So the animal sources are of the best quality protein. Okay?
And what are these animal
And
sources?
what are the animal sources? Yeah. Remember, we talked about the bodybuilding foods. So what are some of the bodybuilding foods that you remember?
The bodybuilding foods?
Yes.
We talked about for sure.
No, bodybuilding, not energy giving.
Or bodybuilding.
Yes.
Um,
Eggs, meat,
milk.
Yes. So the animal sources. Yeah.
In other words, these are foods that are as a product of animals.
Yes. Milk, things from the cow, milk, meat, chicken, eggs, and all those other different animal products.
What about liver?
Yes, everything that you get from the animal. Okay, everything that you get from the animal that is allowed in your religion or your culture to eat. Because remember, we have culture and religion that limit that dictate some of this for our viewers. So those are the best quality proteins. Okay, silverfish is also readily available and it's very good. So these proteins give help in bodybuilding. Okay, but in case we don't have access all the time to these foods, because some of them are very expensive, then we can have the plant proteins. We can have like beans, peas, granuts, but lapena, the cowpeas and all those. So what is the best thing to do is to combine these plant sources so that we get out a good quality protein. For
You've
example,
talked about combining
yes.
these various groups.
Yes.
Do you mean that I get the beans,
Yes.
then the peas and all that, I prepare them at once and
You
eat them as one?
Now you have to make sure it's palatable. Taste. So you can get beans and add granite paste. Yeah. You can I don't know, people have different combinations. Yeah. You can add silverfish to maybe lapena. Okay, so the important thing is to combine two plant proteins, two plant sources, because when you combine them, they give you a better protein. It improves the quality of the protein, because remember, we are moving from a cell to a human being, and the muscles and all that is built by good quality protein. Yes.
So I think we are going to have a short commercial break, yes. And when we come back, of course, we are going to start from that other protective from the protective foods. So let us come back shortly after the commercial.
The world in which I lived by then, there was no nursery school in our area. We couldn't hear about them.
Those days, you would have basically three clothes. The one you use for everyday work, and then the one you keep for Sunday.
I asked some of my friends whom I knew used to go to Chevambe every weekend. I tried to describe it. He said, we know that girl.
Things of this world really don't matter so much to me. Yes, I need them, but they really wouldn't take me away from God.
I was born under a mango tree, but the mango tree is since gone.
welcome back from that commercial break. Remember, this is Health Pot, and of course, Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name. This year, we are determined to improve your health, so you shouldn't miss these shows. Every Friday at 7 p.m., just let your eyes be on Family TV. So, Amanda,
Yes.
before you went for the commercial break, we had looked at the energy foods,
Yeah.
and we had also looked at the
Bodybuilding.
bodybuilding foods, and then we want to look at the protective foods.
Yes.
What are these protective foods?
So the protective foods are the fruits and vegetable foods. Okay, they build our immunity, and when they build our immunity, our body is able to fight off diseases. So these are the the protective foods. And examples of fruits that you know I'm a teacher, so I'll keep.
Okay, mangoes,
Yes.
oranges,
Yes.
yellow bananas.
Yes. So what we encourage is eat as many fruits and vegetables in season.
Irrespective of which class of fruits you eat.
All fruits and vegetables are good as long as you have access to them and they are in season, because we want our meals to be affordable. So depending on right now, the prevailing season, I think we have a lot of pineapples, we have a lot of mangoes
And watermelons.
and watermelons, if you can get jackfruit, all the fruits and vegetables that you have access to. And you can also plant some at home. Okay, you have a backyard garden with some vegetables. Lockdown taught people how to grow some things at home. It's very important for food security. Yeah, so these protective foods are very key. And in the protective foods, I want to talk about a few nutrients, micronutrients like iron, because during pregnancy, our iron requirements as mothers to be greatly increase. Okay, and why do these increase? One, for the mother, as when a woman gets pregnant, okay, her blood is used to deliver oxygen and food to the baby. Okay, so one of the things that we have is the woman's blood volume expands, increases. Okay, and blood is mainly iron. Okay, so because of that, the woman's iron requirements will increase. Okay, and there is also the demand for the child. Iron is very important and critical in growth and development of the child. So one, in neurodevelopment also for that child, then of course also blood for that child, because the child is forming. Okay, so iron plays a key role. And when you look at the statistics in the world, in low-income countries like ours, iron deficiency is a very big problem, especially in women and children and girls and women. Okay, as long as they have gone to the childbearing age. So in hospitals, when you go for antenatal, we'll have a talk on that. Women are given iron and folic acid supplementation. Okay, so they give you those tablets. Please take them, because iron is very important as during pregnancy. Then in the last trimester, the last 3 months of pregnancy, when the baby is about to come out, that is the time the baby is building iron reserves for themselves. So in that period, iron is still very important. Yes. And those iron reserves that the child builds are supposed to last that child the first 6 months of life, because there will not be a lot of iron.
The first 6 months after birth.
After birth. Because there won't be a lot of iron. There won't be a lot of iron in the breast milk. So in the last 3 months of pregnancy, the child accumulates iron stores. So if that child does not get enough, then the first 6 months of life, that child will not have enough iron. And the child will be predisposed to illnesses, different illnesses. We shall talk about that in another session. clearly, but that is one of the importances of iron. Okay. Yes. Then folic acid, we talked about it in preconception, you remember. Folic acid is important during pregnancy, especially the first 4 weeks. 4 weeks of pregnancy. Because in that period, the central nervous system that has the spine is developing. And so if we don't have folic acid in that time, then our we will get what they call neurotube deficiency diseases. And one of the examples is the spina bifida, okay, which is really not good for our children. So in those first weeks, the brain and the central nervous system are developing. So another nutrient that is important that I will talk about there are what we call essential fatty acids. So the terms are just technical, but they come from fats and oils. Normally, the mentality we have is, oh, I will not eat any fats, I will not eat any oils. But these fats and oils are important in hormone production. Okay? And during pregnancy, we have a lot of hormones that are in play. And
maybe let us be specific
yes.
to the sources of these fats and oils.
Yes, I was getting to that point. So I just want to stress that these fats and oils help in the cell build cells, our cells, body cells, the cell membranes, the top parts of the cells. They are very important for their integrity. And they're also important for hormones, for our eyes, the development of our eyes, the development of the brain and the nerves. So if you stay away from fats and oils during pregnancy, you are, you are not being fair to the child that is developing.
Maybe when women come for antenatal, you do not stress this because I think women think that if maybe they eat much fats and oils, then they will grow fatter and then they'll fail to go through normal delivery, and then they'll of course have to go for cesarean birth.
Okay, so the important thing we need to know about fats and oils is we have the healthy fat and the non-healthy fat. So the essential fatty acids are the very healthy fat. They're even the heart-friendly fats. They are good for our heart. So which ones are these? We normally call them the omega-3 and omega-6 oils. Where are they found? Because most people take tablets, supplementation, which is still good. It's a good habit. But we can get them from the foods we eat. We can get them from pumpkin seeds. Do you see pumpkin seeds, roasted pumpkin seeds? Yeah. We can get them from soya bean oil. Okay? We can get them, we have a lot of sunflower oil on the market. We have oily fish. You know, what oily fish do we have common in Uganda? Imputa. Nile perch. Okay, I've seen chia seeds on the market of late. We have a lot of chia seeds.
Yeah, they are.
We have poultry and poultry products, like chicken and eggs. So we can get these essential fatty acids from the foods we eat. Silverfish is a very good source of these essential fatty acids. Mukene now these days can be eaten as a snack. Yeah. You see it fried or something. It can be eaten as a powder, added to granuts, or it can be cooked as the whole mukene fish. So we can get these essential fatty acids. They are very important, we said, for the brain development of the child, for nerve development and the eyes. Okay? And that plays an essential role for your child's growth and development as they grow. So let's keep eating this kind of food. Yes.
So, actually, I want to take you back a bit to the protective foods. Mm-hmm. You told us we eat these fruits as protective foods, and somewhere you told us that they help in immunity. Yeah, immunity. Yeah. And then you talked about iron, and you talked about folic acid. Yes. So, what if I only concentrate on eating these foods and I don't take the tablets that I'm given in the hospital? Can they work as substitutes?
Well, eating these iron-rich and folic acid-rich foods, like the green vegetables and all those, are very important. the folic acid and iron supplementation that we get in hospital is also very important. You see, we have interventions that target problem areas. So for pregnant women and children and girls of childbearing age, iron is a big problem, iron deficiency. So that's why we have that intervention for blanket supplementation of iron and folic acid. So it is very important that we take iron and folic acid. Even on the market, we have pregnancy multivitamins and multiminerals, pregnant care and all those. They are important. But the key thing to note is some of those products are meant for the European market. That means the iron and folic acid requirements might not meet the requirements that are within our country. So it's important for you to discuss with your gynecologist, okay? If you are taking the iron, the pregnant cares, what else do you need to add? Is it important that you add the iron and FeFo, or the food itself will be enough? So it's very important to make those kind of decisions with the clinician that's attending to you. Yes.
So Amanda, as we wind up,
Yes.
what happens if nutrition in pregnancy is underlooked?
Yes, so if nutrition in pregnancy is not done well, if a mother is not healthy during pregnancy, we have there's a hypothesis that science came up with. I'll use an example that was in the Western world. We had the Dutch famine in World War II. I wasn't there. Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
So we had a famine in World War II, and the scientists followed up the children and the children that were in that war. They followed them up until most of them died. Okay, and there's a hypothesis that they call the Baker's hypothesis. Baker was the scientist, and or you'll find the early programming, or what do we call it? I've forgotten the exact word. Okay, so Baker's hypothesis that states that exposures in early life affect the disease, the kind of diseases that you'll have later on. So, for example, the child, the fetus, okay, as they are growing in the mother's womb, and they're exposed to severe deficiencies, for example, for energy, okay, the child will adapt, because we adapt, children adapt. The child will adapt to using or thriving in an environment of little, okay? And then when you give birth to that child, and the child's environment is not similar to what was in the womb, okay? Maybe there's a little more food, or the child becomes an adolescent and they're exposed to a lot more food. That child's body, remember in the fetus, the body was programmed to spending little and storing fat. So that child's body will still store a lot of fat, because what we store as energy is fat, okay? And that fat, if it's too much, becomes dangerous. It exposes these children to, there will be children or adults or adolescents to diseases like diabetes. They will be exposed to obesity, okay? Cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, and all those non-communicable diseases that have become a problem now. You remember before, the mentality was these diseases are for the rich.
Yeah.
But now we are seeing in low resource communities that we have very high levels of this kind of diseases. So that could be one of the things. Our children were programmed while in utero, and now we are seeing this issue. And another one is just the generation of malnutrition. Malnourished mother giving birth to a malnourished child that grows up malnourished also gives birth to so the cycle of malnutrition continues, and malnutrition has very many negative effects. The first one is cognitive development. We will have a generation of non-productive citizens, because they are not completing school, maybe because they are sick all the time, so they drop out, or they are not doing well academically, So those are some of the lasting effects. And if you have a non-productive population, then you don't have, you don't have revenue being generated from them. You have economic consequences. Yeah. So
All right. Thank you so much, Amanda, for today's presentation. We are indeed impressed. And I believe the mothers out there have learned a lot out of this. And I also advise husbands to encourage their wives do these things. Actually, husbands, you can also buy for your wives fruits.
The father's
Yeah,
role,
yeah.
yes.
Play your role as a husband and as a father. Of course, this is Health Thought. And Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name, but of course I work with a very big team. Today we had Amanda and taking us through nutrition in pregnancy. We had Fatna on sign language. We have Jonah Jal, the producer. We have Bantam in transmission, and Tony Santo in charge of social media. But of course, we sign out, and good night.